start of a new vlog. It is Sunday. It's not even 4 a.m. My phone has died. I can't check the exact time. But it's been a couple of days. I have not read anything since the Door of No Return because I've been busy / really tired. While I have no phone, no music, no nothing, I will be listening to the sounds of the laundry going, which you can probably hear in the background. And I'm going to start on Dad's Girlfriend and Other Anxieties. I'm going to get back on track. We're going to read a lot this week and also do like a bunch of chores because I'm doing the monthlies and stuff like that. And yeah, wow, this got really bright. Maybe this camera is worth something. I don't know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I got a new camera. I've had a lot of difficulties with it. So check out those vlogs, I guess. So that's it. I'm going to film myself working out. We're going to start this morning up. Oh, wow. Wow. That was really cool. Anyways, we're going to start this morning off by filming myself working out and reading Dad's Girlfriend and Other Anxieties. And then I think the next book that I have up is Something Great. I'm not really sure. Got thrown off the wagon a little bit, but we're going to get back on. I have a lot of posting to do on Instagram today as well. And I'm also going to finish the B-roll footage for the fall outro video for next year. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. Oh, and carving pumpkins. We're going to do that today too. So I will catch y'all up in a bit and show off those. Bookies. We are out here for
Hi.
Halloween. We are set up. We're waiting. We're just kind of chilling and eating out here. I finished.
You have it pointed in the middle of us.
I don't care.
Okay.
I was grabbing my phone. It's like 5:09 p.m. It's Monday. It's Halloween. So I didn't finish much the last week. I'm gonna try to get. I've not filmed the end of last week's vlog. I'm kind of doing this out of order again. Oh well. But this week so far, I have started and finished Maybe an Artist. Pretty good. I wish that it did a little bit. There was some Islamophobia in there, and it really didn't do much to like address that it was bad. I'm like, what are you doing? Because it's like a graphic novel memoir. So it's like it takes place somewhat during September 11th and stuff like that. And then the author used a Harry Potter reference to convey Islamophobia, and it's like I kind of get where you were going, but like you didn't do much to address that it was bad and not to do it. Anyways, so that was a 3 out of 5. And then I am still far behind in reading, so I was supposed to have Gleanings done like a couple days ago, and I have not started it yet, but I have read and just finished Thunderhead. Super good. That's going to be a 5 out of 5, and I'm about to start to toll before the trick-or-treaters come. So that's where we're at right now, and I will catch y'all up in a bit.
sad news. As you guys can tell, we are missing a member of the Epic Reads team here. Erica Waters wasn't feeling well, so she cannot be here with us today. But her books are still out. It's not. But her books are still here, so please grab one on your way out. But are you ladies ready? We're gonna have a good time. You have no idea.
Welcome to YATL.
All right, here.
What do you have with the book? Cocaine.
Because I got ahead of it.
Oh.
Hydration.
I cannot keep this one under control. All right.
So short. Hi. Hello.
We are so excited to have you guys here. You guys, all of your books are both delicious and nutritious, good for us and good to us. And we are excited to have you here today. So we're just going to come right out the gate with questions. And we're going to have you guys introduce your books for those who may not be familiar.
Who wants to go first?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Marie Arnold. I wrote I Rise. And do you need like a quick blurb?
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote I
Just
Rise.
assume nobody here knows anything.
Okay. It's a.
That's right. Show the stage.
That's right.
There you go. Show and tell. There you go.
It's about a 14-year-old girl whose mother is the founder of an organization that's kind of like Black Lives Matter, but it's called See Us, and it focuses on Harlem. And her mom is the founder, and she's beloved by the community, and she's a pain in the neck to the establishment. She's an activist 24/7, and Io, the girl, is like that, and it's great. While people were going to birthday parties in her class, she was getting people registered to vote. You know, like, she was an activist all day, but now she wants to be normal. She wants to go to parties and dance with boys and kiss, and so she's trying to get her freedom. And she's trying to get her freedom, and she doesn't want to be part of the movement, and she tells her mom, and during a huge protest, her mom gets shot in the head. This is not a spoiler, it's on the back. So during the protest, her mom gets shot in the head, and so all of Harlem is now looking to her to lead the movement that she's trying to get away from. No pressure.
So I'm here for Rest in the Root. Some of you might know me from Dread Nation. It's the zombie apocalypse that they file at Gettysburg. Rest in the Root takes place in the 1930s.
Do another show and tell.
There we go. Rest in the Root takes place in the 1930s. It follows a main character, Laura. She wants to move to New York City from her small town of Pennsylvania and become a baker. The only difference is in Laura's world, magic is real, and people do this magic by using what they call the possibilities and manipulating common household objects into something extraordinary. Unfortunately, it's 1937, and the United States has been hit by what's called the Great Rust, which is sort of their version of the Great Depression, where all of the magic has bottomed out in certain areas, and then people have to go back and go into different areas and fix it. So Laura is trying to follow her dream. She's broke, so she signs up with this government agency to help go fix this blight in Ohio, and finds out it's more than it seems. Dun dun dun.
So we've been together for 3 days now. This is our third event together. And I really want Marie to introduce me.
We should introduce each other's books. Yeah. I'll do Erica's.
Yeah, so my book is called Each Night Was Illuminated. It's about two people. They meet as children, and they witness a train accident. And the protagonist, Cassie, when she sees that accident, it's sort of the death of a lot of her belief in magic and beautiful things. When she runs into the boy again years later, she finds out that he saw ghosts rising out of the wreckage. And so he kind of convinces her to go ghost hunting with her. This is not a spoiler, but there are no ghosts. It's really a story about belief and
This is spoiler.
that's in the tagline. Ghost stories in the best. It's really about what is a ghost anyway? That's a really intriguing question. So anyway, friendship story and about what is unseen around us. So, yeah.
So I'm Erica Waters. And I wrote The Restless Dark. And it is an amazing book, being Erica Waters. Or Erica Waters, I say anything, but it's a really wonderful book. And it is set in Georgia, in a place called, I think it's Cloud Kiss Canyon, which I believe is modeled on a real place here in Georgia that she visited and was completely creeped out by. And so she has written a story that came out of her contemplation of serial killers and the very weirdness of our intense focus on true crime, sort of ambivalent feelings about our focus on true crime. And so the book is about serial killer camp. In the sense
There's a contest.
There's a contest at this camp to see who can find the line.
Okay, so there's basically a podcast about serial, a specific serial killer.
Podcast about serial killers.
Three girls who have their own reasons for being there end up trying to track him down and all this other stuff, and to win the contest. And in trying to find external things, they discover internal things about themselves, and it's also very creepy and very awesome. And serial killers are awesome.
Erica said that.
Erica's here with all of us. What is a ghost? Yes.
Apparently it's Erica's spirit.
Wait, they have to be making
Okay, now I'm making my own turn. And Heather's gonna hold up. It took you long enough. Okay.
Fan number one over here.
Okay, so that's the most recent book. I might as well admit, though, that the first book in this series, The Thief, wrong book. The first book in this series, The Thief, was published in 1996. There are 6 books in the series: The Thief, The Queen of Atolia, The King of Atolia, Conspiracy of the Kings, Thick as Thieves, and The Return of the Thief.
I'm so impressed by that. I'm so
This
impressed.
only took me
That's
20
not worth the $5 you gave me.
This only took 25 years. So in 2020, I finally finished the story that I had been telling for literally 25 years. And it was a lot of hard work. And when I was done with all of that hard work, I decided that it was my chance to have some fun. So this book that has been released on the 1st of November is Moira's Pen, and it's a compilation of short pieces that I have written over the past 25 years. It's also me letting my geek flag fly and talking about some of the archaeological objects that inspired things that are in the book. And there's a cake recipe, because why not? So that's my
Who doesn't love cake?
yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into it. Megan, since you're right there, already ready. How did this book come about? Yes, outline. And what's one bit in that book that you are the proudest of, aside from the cake?
I can't take a lot of credit for the cake recipe. I mean, it's a family recipe, and I wrote it down and put it in the manuscript, and a friend
Share it with the rest of the family.
and a friend, Sharon November, who actually bakes, said, "Can I get this recipe?" I'm like, "I copied this down when I was 11. It is exactly what was in the cookbook." And she's like, let's put measurements in. So if any of you ever successfully make the almond cakes, you can just thank Sharon November. She's like, "You need to tell them how long to cook it." Well, until it's done. I said it's done. Put the toothpick in and then it's done.
Do you have temperature to be something?
No,
Keep an eyeball on it.
Alright, okay, so.
Good luck,
So
Megan.
that one, the cake recipe is like right out of the running on that question. But the book came about largely because starting in, I think, like 2005, 2006, when HarperCollins was putting out paperback editions of they asked me to write a little something to go in the backs of the paperback editions. And so I wrote sort of additional material that wasn't maybe directly in the narrative arc of my stories. It was my opportunity to go around exploring my own world and writing a little bit about it. And then these things were published in various paperback editions, some of which are now out of print. Oh yeah, and there was the short story in the Disney Adventures magazine because Uber Fan has that too. But yes, I also wrote a short story for Disney Adventures magazine. And people would write to me and say, how can I get these? Where can I read these? I would like to have read everything. And because they were out of print, there wasn't a lot I could tell them. And so I remember in my youth how great it, I still remember, it's fabulous when you went down an out of print book. And you're thrilled to find that thing that you've been looking for, and I totally understand that as a reader, but as a writer, I want to make it easier for people to read my stuff, not harder. So my agent talked to my editor, and we made this book happen.
Nice. Justina? Yeah. What was your inspiration for the world of Rust and Root, and how did history inform the book's plot and characters?
Yeah, so I said this last night, I always steal from history when I'm building a world because it's right there and no one's using it. And so in this case, I was researching other things in the Library of Congress for a different book, actually for Bookies Ghost, which is set in 1920. Thank you for the world again. And so while I was there, yes, that was right there. And while I was researching that book, I kept coming across these images from the 1930s, which was not where I was writing. I was writing in the 20s. And so I reached out to one of the librarians because I live adjacent to DC, so I go down to the Library of Congress quite often because it's really cool and all the librarians are old and like crotchety and kind of like.
They sound perfect.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. They're actually my favorite people. They're just like, yeah, whatever. You want a library card? Yeah, I'll give you a library card. And so I was like, hey, you have all these images, and like it keeps referring to this collection. What's this collection? Like, oh. So if you're not familiar with the Works Progress Administration, during the Great Depression, FDR created this group of artists and photographers and writers and sent them across the United States to document life in the United States at the time because nobody had money or work. And he's like, look, if we can put even our creative people to work, we can put everybody to work. One of the most famous things they did was they documented the narratives of formerly enslaved people who had moved across. And so they just, these narratives of people who had lived through slavery and what it was, what they remembered of it. These people are very old. If you ever listen to them, their audio tapes, they're fantastic, and just the patois and the language is like, what are they saying? And then sometimes they're narrated in this a little cringy because they also write in patois, and we don't do that anymore. Anyway, historically speaking, there's all these pictures, and there are these amazing pictures. And one of the things that's great about the United States is if we contract work from people, it is for the use of the people of the United States. So if you find a picture that was taken by the Works Progress Administration, it is open source, and you can use it. And I kept finding all these amazing photos, and I was like, I really just want to write a fantasy story that uses pictures from the time period to put Black people back in the narrative of that time period. Because if you're not familiar with, the kind of the reality of Black people, we've been here a really long time. There's a project about it. But we kind of just show up for a Civil War and then Civil Rights, and then we're not really on the map. Sometimes you get to show up for the Soul Train in the 70s, that's about it. And so I really wanted to
skip Reconstruction, which is my favorite.
I know. It's almost like Reconstruction failed, and people are kind of ashamed about that. But anyway, so one of those things I wanted to do was just kind of do that because one of the things that's fun about books that are not prose, like if you write comics, you get images, you get pictures, you get art. We don't get that a lot in prose, and so I just wanted to put in pictures. Also, I wanted to just make sure Harper paid the most to print this book they've never paid. Yes, so that was my inspiration.
Respect.
Make them pay.
I respect that.
I need a microphone.
I would like the record to reflect that I had this outfit on first.
Okay, Jody, I just want to know though, you said there's no ghost stories, but do you have a favorite ghost story? Did you contemplate real ghost stories when you were writing this book?
A ghost shows up in every one of my books.
Because you're a genius.
Because ghosts are wonderful.
Awesome.
They're amazing.
Yeah, I think that I I read this book in high school. My mom was a librarian, and I was waiting for her one day, and there was a book on why cultures build ghosts and why we build ghosts and what goes into the building of ghosts. And it simmered for years and years, and then I started realizing that there were ghosts in all my books, and I was like, oh, this is from that, and that interest in really belief and what kind of I think this book, Each Night Was Illuminated, is it's really focused on an atmosphere of like what is unseen, and that doesn't necessarily have to be ghosts, but I think it's the idea that ghosts promise possibility that makes ghosts so appealing to me, because they promise that impossible things are possible, and I slightly believe in ghosts, and so I think every time I try to write a book and I promise myself there will not be a ghost there, they always turn up. And I think it carries this real emotional meaning for me of there is true magic in the world, even if it's undefinable. I think that's something so important to me in my writing.
I also am a ghost junkie. Have you ever heard this tale of the Yazoo witch?
Yes.
That's so good.
I just put it in a book.
Did you really?
Yeah. I have a middle grade book that hasn't been announced yet, and it takes
I'm
place
glad
in
you said
Georgia.
middle grade.
Middle grade, yeah. And they reference the Yazoo City witch, yeah. I do my homework.
Yes, you do.
Push me, I need to be reset. Oh my God. Look up that story. That story
It's
is
great. It's
wild.
great, yeah.
It's so good.
Just Tina will tell you.
Yeah.
Also look up the Pink Lady in
Yeah.
Asheville.
Lady.
The Pink Lady in Asheville is good too.
We'll be having ghost stories in the camper van.
So Marie, your story is so beautifully crafted. Let me just like fan out for a second, because as someone who is a social justice activist, like it meant the absolute world to me. I like devoured it in one night. Could not go to sleep, was like just up flipping pages, crying, threw the book across the room at one point. It was a lot happening that night. It was a lot happening. And I have found that when I travel for my books, that a lot of times the first question that I get from young readers is, I want to enter the social justice space. Like, and my first thing is tell them, don't do a knee jerk. Really think about, what do you want to do, and know that there's just as many people that love you. You're gonna have twice as many people that don't love you so much. What advice do you give to young readers when they read this, they get excited, they feel like they want to get activated in some way?
Don't.
I messed it.
Not at all. It's just so big. Like,
Yeah.
racism is so big. It's just so much. I think you have to find that one part that particularly speaks to you. Otherwise, you're going to get really overwhelmed, and therapy is expensive. So, like, find something. Like, if you have a soft spot for prison reform, or like it starts personally, like if, for example, your dad was there and you think that he should be treated better or whatever, so you have a personal connection, start with that. Like, we can't all be Dr. King. We can't all, you know what I mean? But you can do your best version of that, and it might be something like, the neighborhood kids taking them to the library. Even they're like, we don't got it, we don't want to go. Just go, come on. And you go with them, and they find a book they like. It sounds like it's a little thing, but it's not. So find the thing that speaks to you, however small that may be, and that's your own way of doing like personal justice and personal like social service. It doesn't have to be like we're not gonna be like 12 Michelle Obamas. It's not gonna happen. You just have to do your version of that, whatever that looks like. And like for me, growing up I was born in Haiti, but I grew up in Brooklyn, and the thing that I found that we lacked was vision. Like, I knew people that I grew up with who never left Flatbush, Brooklyn. I'm like, girl, get on the train. So even if you just like take your little cousins, or it doesn't have to be a big stage, just take your cousin to a better part of town so that they know it exists, so that they have vision. And I think that's the only thing that stands in the way of the kids in the hood or whatever who make it, and the ones who don't, the ones who know that there's something more out there. So start small.
All right, now we're gonna get a little loose.
So many real people.
Oh, okay. I can believe that.
Awesome.
That would be my dinner. Everybody sitting and listening, brother James.
Love it. Love it.
I would have dinner with anyone other than Io's mom. Io's mom, she does not play. She does not play.
Like anybody but.
Like she does not
She's so
suffer.
intimidating.
She really is. She's like that kind of person that, like, there's an example in the book where she's like, if you think Rosa Parks is the first woman to say she's not going to sit in the back of the bus, you can't come to my house because that means you don't read. So her mom is very intimidating, and I think I was built under her glare because she has that thing, there's like one person or more than one person in your life who just, you gotta stand up tall because they're next to you. Like, no, why does your head down? Come on, like, up, come on, like that. I wouldn't be afraid of her, so anyone but her.
If you could switch bodies with anyone in the world, who would it be, and what would be the first thing you do?
Told you we're doing that. The hard questions.
We ask the And what would be the first thing you do?
Carry it to him.
Like live tonight.
So we all said Beyonce.
That's universal.
That's universal. Yeah.
No, it is like, just imagine what that life would be. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be Joe Biden for a day, man.
That's what I was about to say. I'm gonna write some executive orders.
I'm gonna be like, no, student loans are trapped. We're gonna just pass this. I know the court's gonna knock it down. We're gonna pass this shit too. It's just gonna be like do it. It'll be like Joe Biden's crazy day. I'm gonna be like, Joe Biden was singing like Pop and Lock. Yeah, it'll just be like Joe Biden's been possessed with the soul of black woman. Right? That's why. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes, I would set a record for executive orders that day. 147 executive orders were issued
Give me
today.
every little intern you could type.
Pardon him.
Absolute chaos.
Also, I'm arrested.
There will be a lot of arrests of this.
Hey, I'm all doing that.
Hey Bookies, I'm shooting this like super late, so sorry for that. I had a lot of things going on, but it is the end of the vlog. I don't know where I last left you off on, but I have a short list of books that I did complete for this week. I completed Dad's Girlfriend and Other Anxieties, Something Great, Road of the Lost, Love from A to Z, and Love from Mecca to Medina. So those are all the books that I finished this week, so thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next week. Bye!